I recently played a multiplayer game with Alex, the developer of the game Discbenders, which is a disc golf frisbee game for the Oculus Quest. You can get it currently via SideQuest and it will set you back $9.99 US, but there was also a demo available so you can try before you buy. Now in this video I get to ask Alex a bunch of questions about the game and he gets to show me some techniques they use in disc golf. Now there is a lot to like about this game. It has some great physics, over 27 different holes to play, a career mode and a multiplayer mode for up to 4 players. Now I'd just like to note that you might hear some audio issues in this video, such as out of sync audio. So apologies for this, but I just want to be clear that this is the video itself and not the game. The audio in the game is just fine. So let's take a look. So I'm here with the developer of Discbenders, Alex. This game is currently on SideQuest. It's a VR disc golf game, which is like regular golf except with frisbees, and you have to get the frisbee in the basket in as few throws as possible. We're on hole 5, and we have our scoreboard there. And Alex, I'm joined by Alex, who is going to show me how it's done.
Oh boy. Well, I'll try my best. Yeah, so like Tony said, we're on hole 5 here. It's about 605 feet in length, as you can see on the map. It's going to kind of come out a little bit here straight in front of us, and then it's going to bend around and it kind of makes this huge S-curve. And then the basket's going to be down on the little island. So we'll kind of see that as we play. But at the starting tee we're at, you know, there's a couple different options you can take on your first throw here. And so, you know, what I usually like to do is, I feel comfortable and confident in my throw, and so I usually like to take this shot that's over the river. So you can see there's some trees lined up over there, and if you really feel like you can get it there, you grab a long disc, like a long-range disc, like a blue mid-range or your orange distance driver, and if you give it a nice rip, it'll actually land on the other side. And as long as you land in bounds, it's like a nice position to get to that second shot up there. If you're feeling like, you know, you're still learning the game, still getting into the throwing mechanics, you can kind of pitch it up a little bit, and then pitch it up again, and, you know, kind of round that bend there, and then you'll be in a nice spot once you're over here to see up this hillside. And so there's a couple different ways you can kind of play this hole, but the way I usually do it is I like to throw it across the river, just to kind of get a little better position.
Last time I attempted to cross this river and I made it, so I'm going to try again, but knowing my luck, I'm not going to make it this time.
No, I think you got it. You got it last time. You got it this time. You're going to use that forehand right. You're going to get it high up in the air with a good amount of spin.
All right.
There you go. Nice.
Oh, just
barely in. You were maybe like 6 inches. You got a good roll, is what they say. You got a really nice roll down the hill.
Yeah.
But now we're both sitting in different spots with different positions on this hill, right? This hill kind of in front of us is pretty high up, so you want a disc that has a nice glide to it. So what I usually like to pull out is that pink fairway driver. And what that one does is, as long as you throw it about chest height, it's going to get you a really nice glide up in the air and lift above the hillside. And then the other nice thing about it is that it stays really straight, so it's not going to curve really hard down left or right. So I'm trying to do that because I'm in between this bush and this tree, so I don't want to hit either of those. So I want something that's not really going to dive away from my line I'm throwing here, right? So let's see if I can kind of attack this other side of this hole here. There we go. So I used a powerful disc, but I threw something soft, and that's fun, you know, that's just as good as throwing a low-speed disc really hard, right? It's like, as long as you know the way it's going to fly, you can kind of throw it the way you want, and get it the way you want. So there, I didn't want to go past into the river, right? So I just threw really soft and got that glide that I wanted, but I didn't go out of bounds, right? Which is really nice.
All right, I'll come to you so I can see you throw your shot.
Sure, absolutely. Well, this shot's really scary, so I can't tell you it's going to be a good result, but we can at least get a good lesson out of it. We can imagine what's going to be the ideal throw here. So I threw that fairway driver up here, and even though I threw it soft, I'm still halfway down this hill, right? And so I'm kind of thinking to myself, I want a little bit of distance, right? Because if I use just a putter, right, it's not going to go that far, right? Like I kind of want to get near the basket, but that one's just going to hit the island. So I'm grabbing this approach disc, which is the next most powerful. But the thing about the approach disc is it flips over a lot, and so if I throw it flat, it's going to end up going deep left. So let's try and see what that happens there. Maybe it'll end up in the river. So look it up flat, and then see how it kind of like is curving left pretty hard, and then it's going to go in the river there.
Yeah.
So you almost have to be smart about this disc, because I want the short distance, but I have to work with its flip value, right? And so I'm going to put it a little bit, instead of throwing it flat, I'm going to tilt it up this way, which is opposite of natural, right? So natural would be throwing it inside and landing left. Because I kind of want to do this S curve where I throw it like this on an angle, and then it'll flatten out in the middle of its throw, and then that left curve is going to hopefully not be so strong because I kind of counter it at the beginning of my throw. And hopefully all that angling and turning will slow down the disc a little bit too. So let's see if I can kind of fix that. Okay, not bad. So that way...
On the green.
Yeah, on the green. Yeah, that one wasn't bad. So you saw the difference between that first throw that went left and this throw that I ended up curving it right at the beginning, but it ended up landing flat because of that left turn. And so just right there, you can see just a difference in angle. My power was the same, right? My spin was the same. Just knowing that the way the disc is going to curve is kind of allows you to throw different throws, and there I got a decent result where I'm on the island now.
Yeah, that's I can see. I'm a bit further back from that, so I'm just going to take my shot, and I might take the driver just to see how far I can get.
Sure, absolutely. Oh, there you go. You got that the orange one, the distance driver.
Yeah. Okay. That wasn't too bad. At least I'm not out of bounds.
Yeah, you were right in the middle, actually. It was almost a great throw. The other thing is, I don't know if you saw it, but you had a really nice power on it, and it was going to fly really far. And then it ended up catching one of these leaves in the tree, and so it kind of caught it a little bit. But it actually ended up in a really nice position. You're going to have almost the same decision as me when you're back there, where whether you want to throw a putter, approach, or mid-range, you're going to kind of find your preferred distance there.
Well, it looks like you're on the putter now. You're very close.
Yeah, I'm about 5 to 10 feet out here, which shouldn't be too bad. So I'm just grabbing this putter, which is really low speed disc, and it doesn't turn a lot, right? So if I just throw it flat, you can kind of see it's not really going to flip anywhere. It's going to kind of stay straight. So if you're looking to get in between like a couple trees, or you just want to throw like say down that, if I wanted to throw down that like bridge, and I want to throw a putter because it's really nice and straight, it's not going to bang into one of the walls. So this is really good for close to the basket. There you have it. Just a little toss.
Wow.
Not so bad, yeah. One of the easier putts. A lot of putts are difficult sometimes if you have a bad position, right? If you're behind a tree or over a river, you really have to be confident in your throw when you're putting sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes putting can be, well, I guess different shots require different skills. I find putting really hard. But that's what we were talking about earlier. That's what I love about this game, is that it's really great for a variety of different players. So, you know, it's great for those who maybe are more advanced, wanting to get into all the different types of throws and the physics behind throwing the discs. But it's also great for someone who's also, you know, new to disc frisbee golf and just wants to jump in, throw the disc around, you know, so you don't have to be an expert in this stuff, and you can really take it as far as you want to take it.
Yeah, that's the whole goal here, right? Is because, like you said, it is a competitive sport, you know, in real life. So if you want to get it there, you can. But also, if you just want to play, you know, on a relaxing game and goof off with some friends and throw some discs, you know, kind of learn a little bit. Yeah, it's really nice because it does scale back to that experience. So people who you know of disc golf but haven't played before, or just want to throw a frisbee around, you know, it's really nice that it does both for that sort of player.
So I did mention I was terrible at putting. I think you've just witnessed that.
All right, so we're here at hole 9, which is the back end of the front half of the course. So it's the last hole before we head into the next half. As you can see in front of us, it's a huge, what we call an island shot, right? So depending on the type of player you are, you might want to go for the basket in one here, right? You think you can carry all this water and you can kind of get into the island. But also if you're not feeling up to it, or maybe you've lost a lot of score on this hole, you can kind of push it up to these little islands, in front of us and the left and right, kind of scoot your way up there. And the nice thing is it's a par 4, so you can do that and keep on your par if you're looking for that. How I usually approach this hole, and there's a couple different ways to do it. So I usually like to play what's called a hyzer shot. And so what you do is you take your distance driver here, and it's the most powerful disc, so you know it's going to get to that island. And the nice thing is that it's almost too powerful, so you kind of have to swing it out a little bit. So I'm going to swing it out to the right here, and then hopefully it's going to come crashing down left. And then it's going to land on the island right by the basket. The other way you can kind of play this is, here, let me demonstrate that a shot actually. So let's see, you take your disc, nice power, nice spin. You're going to have it on this angle right here, and I'm going to toss it up in the air and to the right. Okay, not bad. So I took it out there and I ended up hitting a wall on the side there, and it rolled down and into the water. So I thought I was going to maybe land it on one of those side islands, but I threw it a little hard. The other way you can approach this is you just take that. So we got Tony up on the tee here, and he's going to show us off our next shot just because we're taking turns. That blue mid-range, if you take that blue mid-range, what you're going to do is you're going to throw it nice and straight. So imagine there's a straight line from about your chest to the basket, right? You're going to take that and you're going to throw it in a straight line, and you're going to try to land it just on the front of that hillside there. And hopefully what happens is your disc will land on the front of the side of the hillside, and then it's going to kind of pop up there, right? It's going to bounce off the ground and it's going to get a little bit closer. And so what you're doing there is you're using a low speed disc, but actually you're giving yourself a little cushion there so that when it bounces off the ground, right, it's going to, instead of going past the pin, it's going to land up next to it.
Okay, so no pressure.
No, not at all.
All right.
It's one of the easier shots in the game. So yeah, if you kind of keep that in mind where you're throwing, we'll kind of see if we can get that.
That was terrible, shocking. All right, let's try that again. That's the other good thing I like about this. On this sort of mode, you can call these discs back, like I just did there, if you make a shot that you're not happy with.
That's true, yeah. You know, 'cause it takes a little bit, sometimes it takes a lot of throws, right, to get to where you want it to be, right? And so it's nice to kind of learn, like you say, maybe it was my wrist angle, maybe it was the power, right, that I put on the disc. Because there you're actually getting, you got your forehand that you're more comfortable with, right? And it looks like you're getting a little bit better result.
That's right, and that's the forehand. Is it more natural for most people to have forehand, or is it backhand the other way?
It's actually backhand, like you would think throwing a frisbee, right? The forehand's actually difficult to pick up, right, in real life and in the game. So I was kind of surprised that you actually prefer it as a natural throw, but I can see that it does work for you really well. So
it works better than I think the backhand. Oh. Oh.
So yeah, basically you hit like a really nice shot. It's just that the island is quite small, and so since you got that right curve on it, it kind of got up there. Then did the same thing as mine, where it kind of tumbled over the island into the water.
Yeah.
And so the reason I wanted to demonstrate that mid-range shot you just did is because if you kind of look at the ground here, you can kind of see there's some different textures going on, right? We've got like a nice like rough grass, and we've got like a dirt. And then when you get on top of the hill, there's a nice sand going through. And so all these different textures actually have different like physics capabilities to them. So just as you would think in real life, the sand is going to kind of give you a nice long glide on the ground, right, and not really stop you too much, but it's going to spin your disc a little bit more. And then that dirt texture is really going to be like tough, right? So if you land it there, your disc is going to stick pretty well. And then you've got different things with different values throughout the game. And so the nice thing about the mid-range shot that you just took is if you try to land on this, let's say you were going straight for the basket, right? And you land on top of this hill or you land on the green, it's going to be really slidey and slippery, right? So a lot of the times what happens is you end up gliding up this hill out of bounds, right? And so it's another way to kind of approach it is to think, okay, I'm going to make this shot, I'm going to make this throw, but where's it going to land and how's it going to interact with the ground, right? And so if you kind of strategically use this texture here, you can kind of see we have this dirt coming up here. So if you land straight up, you would think that if I land on this dirt, it's going to end up catching it a lot better than the sand, right? And hopefully it'll kind of slide up nice and short, and then you end up having like a 20-foot putt you kind of hit here. So that's another layer to the gameplay that comes in when you're thinking about your throw. You're actually on the island, so your putt's going to be, you're going to have a little bit shorter than me. So I'm going to use my putter just because it's a nice straight shot, and I think you can get over this water, right? But the basket, I'm a little low down, so I have to put a lot of extra vertical power on it in order to kind of get to the basket. So I'm going to kind of see if I can get something there. Edit. Oh man, it's I'm used to throwing really hard. There we go. Okay, so see,
wow,
something really powerful vertically, and then I put a little extra angle on the front of the disc just so it catches a little bit more glide, and then it landed a little bit past the basket, which is I'm fine with. I'm happy with that shot.
That was dead straight, and really actually almost even went into the basket. It's very close. So I'm about 28 feet away. So I'm going to chuck my caddy up, grab a putter. I'm going to try the one I'm least comfortable with, which is backhand, and see if I can. So nice and flat with this one, and just a bit of force, not too much.
Oh,
okay,
that was close. Yeah,
I probably released it at the wrong time, I think.
Yeah, just a tad bit late. But the thing about, with like the longer throws, you have a lot of like margin for error, right? So you can kind of be a little reckless, and you'll roughly get in the same spot. But when you're really trying to get in the basket, you have about 2 feet to work with. So even if you're a little bit off, you're gonna add an extra stroke to your scorecard. So putting is terribly difficult. It's definitely normal that everyone, just about everyone, is off in some degree when you're looking at the basket.
So what was your inspiration behind this game?
Yeah, there's a lot. So throw that out there. When I was growing up, I was playing sports a lot, whether it was like football or basketball. So I've always been in that sort of mindset. And then in university, I started playing ultimate frisbee, right? So I got pretty comfortable with the disc, and then this last year I started watching disc golf videos and like competitive events, and I got really into it because it's almost like ultimate frisbee, but it's really casual and laid back, right? And there's a lot of different discs you can use, and so as a VR developer and as a disc golf watcher, right, I was kind of getting into this, and I thought they're the perfect marriage for gameplay, because with disc golf, you can kind of stay in one little spot, and you have enough space, right, in VR to kind of move your arms around and lean around a tree, and you have to. It's nice that you can. The other thing about disc golf is that it's all about taking in nature, right, and so being outside. And so even though we're not outside, we can still admire the landscapes in VR, right? Kind of get that close proximity and that sense of presence. And so, when I thought about the fact that a disc golf game in VR would work for single player and multiplayer, and that it would suit VR really well. I kind of started prototyping it, and developing it, and yeah, a lot of people were kind of taking to the concept, and so I ran with it, and it's almost a year now that this has been developed, so we're hitting some really good milestones for the game.
What do you think the multiplayer adds? What kind of value do you think it adds to this a game like this?
Oh, so much. That was one of the very first things when I started thinking about starting development was, of course I'm going to want to play with other people, right? Because VR, as a social platform, people are really drawn to that. And then one thing you mentioned that I really agree with is that it can be played single. You can play by yourself casually and just kind of throw a disc around for fun, or you can really ramp it up and put 4 players in the game and really play competitively and try to do your best, right? And so there's a lot of different ways that it can be taken, but the multiplayer, when developing the game, there's a lot that goes into like just the throwing of the discs, right? Just to get that down. But having other people and seeing their throws and being able to talk with them, and the pacing, I think, is really key because, like you said, you're not. I don't have to throw this 100 times, in 5 seconds to beat someone. It's kind of like you can sit here and talk and have a conversation, and then when I'm ready, I can kind of get into the action of the game and say, well, I'm going to focus on my throw, and then it's one kind of. It's one big action, right? It's one big stroke, one big brush stroke that you make, and then you get back to it's conversing, it's down tempo again. But you can kind of get into that throw, right? You can kind of get into the. That's the hardcore part about it, is that moment when you throw.
And like you said, I think you mentioned updates coming, and that was probably my next question. What kind of future plans do you have for this game?
Yeah, we've got a lot coming down the pipeline. This next update that we're looking at is going to be we're updating the disc models and the skins, so they look a little bit more like real disc golf discs. And then we're also giving an update to the disc golf bag, so it's going to look a little bit more realistic as you would expect it to. So the whole game is kind of getting a little bit of a facelift. And then some other things that are coming down the pipeline are a lot of cool features for like seeing ahead of you in the hole, right? You have this feature where you can see the basket, but there's more coming to where you're going to be able to see more of the ground play and the different things you need to worry about for your next throw. And then we're also looking at some course designs that we're going to be adding to the game. So this is a hole 18, right, that we're looking at. We got 18 holes in this main course. We're also looking to develop another course that's going to have first 9 holes, and then it's going to be 18. And I think it's going to be really special because it's inspired by real life course design. And so, hundreds of thousands of people play those in real life. I think it'll be really a good fit for the game here too.
Yeah.
But other than that, we've got we're looking to get on different platforms. So right now, the game Discbenders is only on SideQuest, right? So there's kind of a barrier to entry there for people who are non-technical. So we'd really like to get to a place where it's just you have your Quest or your Rift, and you just install natively, right? And so we're applying for the Rift store, and we're also going to put the game on Steam in the next 2 to 3 weeks, right? Getting that through there. So I've heard a stat that almost over 60% of Steam users are actually Oculus in the Oculus ecosystem. I think because of the Quest is kind of ramping up that number. So
Right.
I think we really like to get it on there and kind of see where we can take this in terms of having people's eyeballs in the game too for multiplayer.
So Alex, it's been great playing with you as always, and I'm glad this time there was no technical error. Well, I haven't made the video yet, so I don't want to speak too soon, but so far everything's gone smoothly.
Yeah.
So as always, as I like to do you have any final words, last words before we wrap up the recording?
Yeah, absolutely. The game has been developing over the last year or so, and there's a lot of cool things that have been put in the game, but although I'm the developer, you know, I like to always like give a shout out to people who have been there alongside the game, taking it early on, you know, giving a lot of feedback. You know, it's really it's the people who are playing the game and want to see it better, like me, right, who are there saying, you know, that the discs could use that when it comes to flight. There's a lot of disc golf veterans, so I want to shout out to people in my Discord who are playing the game and supporting it, and you know, helping not only with development but getting the word out there and evangelizing about the play experience. And you know, that includes VR reviews, us doing videos on the game. So I appreciate everyone out there. I'm making it for you and everybody else, and myself, but it's awesome that people see value in it and you know, are enjoying the multiplayer experience from it. So thanks to everybody, I appreciate you.
Yeah, no, and just to say, on my behalf, I really appreciate you giving us this game. I think that it's one of the best games, definitely on the SideQuest store, particularly with this multiplayer mode. Yeah, I've spent hours playing this game. I've really enjoyed it, and I do encourage people to check it out. So it's on SideQuest at the moment, $9.99 US, and like I say, it's so much fun. I've had so much fun today. Thank you for letting us play together, and so we can make this video. It's much appreciated, and I'm sure we'll have a few more games in the future, Alex. I'm sure, when those other updates come along.
Definitely, yeah, I look forward to that.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. As always, if you have liked this video, do remember to hit that thumbs up button and hit that subscribe button and notification bell to be kept up to date with all the latest content coming out of this channel. That's it from me, and I'll catch you in the next video.